Hi. So I'm going to take some deep breaths here because everyone knows that I have a hard time making videos like this. So yes, and today I just wanted to talk about some downloads I have been given within the last couple of weeks, and then free energy. And again, I'd like to speak about some things that happened to me that kind of were out there in the public, that were let's just say they were inflated and they were stretched and everything else. So I'm trying to set everything straight, trying to get back balanced, and it's took a long time since Max passed away. It has been a very interesting, lesson learning, difficult journey. I will tell you that, to come back from that hole of going through everything I did when Max died, losing him and everything else. So I feel like I'm back to myself. I'm back balanced. I have my zen, and I'm really happy about this. And I've just been spending a lot of time working with people, then meditating. And so what I do is I do a session, meditate, go back, do another session, meditate. So that's my days, and then working out. And then doing little energetic rituals. And this piece of hair is driving me mental here. Little rituals to clear energy or prayers for others. So that's what I spend most of my time doing. So to get started, everyone knows I am not good at this. I didn't go to school. I had to learn how to speak on my own, had to learn how to read and write on my own. And I think a lot of people, in this field, when I first got into it, they just thought I was naive, or they might have thought I was dumb or something because I was quiet, or if I said things, I didn't know how to interact with people because I had been locked away. I wasn't allowed to interact with people in society, so I didn't know how to react. I didn't know any of the, normal things in society of interacting between people that I should have known. So I was, in a way, I had all this magical information and a lot of things to bring and a lot of things to give out, but I couldn't get it out because I was sort of stuck in this prison. And my mom, she was very abusive to me, and she made me just be quiet. She made me walk with my head down. And so I had a really hard time. I had to learn how to interact with people. And I guess maybe I came across weird or strange or whatever else. And because I was so different, and people didn't know what to think about me. So I'm trying to straighten that up now that I've learned how to communicate. I've learned how to interact better with people. So I'm trying to straighten a lot of things up. So since I was, thank you, yes, smile. Since I was a little girl, I have experienced all sorts of supernatural ghosts, interacting with ghosts, to speaking to spirits, to access in other dimensions, to remember in past lives in Mars and Egypt. And then as a child, I was having experiences where I was seeing things all across the world. And I would see underground bases, I would see all sorts of things. So there was all that part too, which is very interesting. And I had this whole part of accessing, you might say, the evils going on in the world when it comes to the whole, a lot of secret stuff that's going on in different governments around the world, because it's not only the United States government that's doing terrible things to their people and just being, they're not being sincere, they're not being honest about programs that they run and tests that they run on the mass public. So I was tapping into that stuff, and into other countries, what was happening in their governments and what they were hiding and what they were covering up. And this started to create problems for me, because if I would start to speak out about something and people were listening, it would create weird bad things in my life. Like people were being sent just to attack me. People were being sent to try to, just harm me on any level. And I realized that they were being used. I was being gang stalked. And I do believe that in the archonic consciousness, I realized that these people were infested with lower negative entities, and they would be sent, to the target. So if you're lifting your energy, if you're lifting your vibration, if you're coming out with a lot of very informative stuff when it comes to secret programs or secret information within the different governments from around the world, you will have this sort of interaction that's very negative. I was young back then. I still am young, but I didn't understand how to cope with those things. They were very hard. But now I understand what was happening and why I was ganged up on, why I had all these issues. It was because of this. So when you're waking up, your energy is going up. There's this sort of net around the world, and it's what I call a vibrational net. This vibrational net, it keeps everybody sort of encompassed, and it keeps them low in frequency. Once you bring your frequency up, you hit this sort of net, and it alerts the archons, it alerts it alerts the lower consciousness to try to grab you back in and pull you back down into this net, pull you back down into lower consciousness, pull you back down into the hive consciousness. And I've encountered this. In fact, I physically have seen it. I can't verify this, but it might be connected to the satellite systems because I do believe that AI is connected to the archonic or lower hive consciousness. So one day I was driving, this was some years ago, I was driving and I looked up and I saw a net around, like a net in the sky. It was an energetic net. So I do believe that when you're going up in frequency, you need to be very careful because you must do this. And we must all go up in frequency and break this. We must break this net. We must break this energetic control on this world and on our consciousness in this world, on our minds, on our bodies, and on our souls, on our thoughts. But we must be careful about it. And we must go about it diligently. So when you hit that net, everything's triggered. You have people who will attack you at your work. You'll have family members who will attack you. You'll have friends who will attack you. People who you thought you could trust will suddenly turn and become your enemy. And because they are hived and they have these entities in them because they have not healed themselves. A person who heals themselves removes negative entities and energies and cannot be used. I'll assure you that. But most people are hived. They're not even aware that they have these entities in them. They're not aware they're being used to keep consciousness down. They're not even aware that they're being used to gang stalk or target people who are bringing their frequency up or are waking up. So you have to be diligent. So when you go up, you need to go ahead and try to, and back then when I was in meditation, it would say hide. You're going up in frequency, hide. My thing is I came out and I spoke about it. And I probably should have listened to that back then and hidden myself and not came out and said anything. But I did. And when I did, this triggered it's like the invisible shield where I was able to hide kind of went away. People on a larger scale could see me, entities in them could see me, and boom, they went and attacked me. So I had that experience. It was very, very terrible experience. So now when you do this sort of work to go up in frequency, don't put it out to people who aren't awake really. Bring your frequency up. Let the frequency break their stronghold. Make sure to shield. Make sure to always try to stay in high frequency. So throughout the day, I drink herbal tea. I'm taking superfoods. I'm doing massive amounts of things to keep me up here, way up here, so that I'm not pulled down, so that nothing can reach me up here, and so that I am constantly in high frequencies. When you're starting to wake up, you're starting to detox, you're starting to clear your mind, you're starting to clear your energy field, you're going like this, you're going up and down. When you go down, trust me, that's when they can really grab a hold of you. So you just want to stay as high as you can up here, shield, cloak yourself, don't push any information on people around you who just aren't awake. Try to stick with other awakened people. Try to just become very aware of who is supporting you and who's infected with these lower archonic entities. And even people in my field are. When I was interviewed by some people in this field, they used those interviews. They used that connection to me to really cause a lot of harm towards me and gang people up against me so they could use that energy to harm me. Be very diligent and kind of look and see and feel out. Don't just jump out and scream out because that's the wrong thing to do. I did it, not a good idea. Stick with people who are also awakened because this strengthens you. They're up here, they can help hold you up there. So yes, so that's some of my experience with really just kind of waking up and going to higher frequencies and going on a more open level to everybody and talking about it and how I got attacked. I thought that it's really important that I put this out here because I see so many friends of mine here on Facebook, and I know that, thank you for your support, by the way, because just, you know what, when I was in a really dark spot, you guys leaving nice comments and sticking up for me really did. It really like helped me. Just that thought of me, I could feel that energy, and it helped me get me out of that hole. And so thank you. But you know what I found out is that when we stick around others that are high frequency, it helps keep us up, and it helps us to sort of fight against the negative pulling us down. Anyhow, I see a lot of my friends here on Facebook. I have a lot of friends, and they're like, oh my God, we're being attacked on every level, financially, physically, emotionally. We're being attacked in our dreams. So this is what you need to do if you're having these things happen to you. 1, move. Literally, when you move, entities cannot stick to you and hold to you, and they all kind of jump on you, and they're kind of like leeches. There's a guy who I think he did a book called Mind Parasites, and where they're kind of like leeches. So move, exercise, move your frequency by using herbs, superfoods, start eating healthier. Juicing is just it. I feel like juicing helped resurrect me, as crazy as that sounds. Just juice, not fruits. You can juice fruits after you've healed your gut system, but I juiced a lot of bitters. Believe it or not, the bitters, I think that bitters get out bitterness out of our system. They get out anger, and they also it seems like entities like sugar and like addiction and don't like bitter stuff. So I really was very, very much intensely just taking bitters. That really, really helped. So you need to move your energy field. Don't just lay in bed. You might feel like it. Start doing things to detox your system. Start moving, continuously move. As you do, these archonic entities will let go of you. These parasites that latch onto your aura will not be able to have hold of you. So don't stay in that hole. Get out of that hole. Do anything. Watch a comedy, talk to a friend. Get out of that hole. Don't just stay in that hole. And I see a lot of people just staying in that hole. And the more you stay in that hole, the more you're going to go down and down and down and down. So just get up, move, do things to bring your frequency up, and you're going to start to manifest a lot of goodness in your life on all levels. And hopefully I am an example of that, because I was dying. I had rumors put out that I murdered my ex-boyfriend. I had so much put against me. I had a lot of people betray me, and I had a lot of hurt done to me. But I was able to get out of that hole because I did these things, and I trusted the divine, and I trusted that energy that runs through me, that runs through the universes, that runs through everything. And this energy promised it would heal me. It promised that it would watch over me. It promised it would restore everything to me that I lost and more. And it promised me that it would help me to get its, not mine, but its message out there. And I trusted it, and I had faith in it. And that's why I'm okay today. And that's why I'm sitting here today. We want to cry. We want to be in our holes. We want to be sad about everything. But we have amazing divine power in us. Power to tell the oceans to clean themselves. Power to tell the earth to heal itself. Power to tell our bodies to heal themselves. Power to literally change ourselves in this world. And we need to stop crying and being spiritually immature. And we need to take that power and use it. We need to go ahead. We need to stand in ourselves, stand in our souls, and rise up rather than just staying in that hole. So this is one of the huge messages that after healing, it's always on my mind. It's like, remind everybody just to get out of that hole, because that's the best thing you can do for yourself. So I wanted to go on, and I'm going to talk about some of the rumor stuff that was put out about me. Back then, as I said, I didn't have a lot of sort of interaction with the world because I was locked away till 24 years old. My mom was severely abusive to me, and I didn't know how to interact or how to even speak up for myself. I knew it was wrong, and it was really hurtful to watch it happen, and not, people telling lies, people telling gossip, people telling rumors, and not be able to say something. And I have come to this sort of balance of where I know I can say just enough that it's going to be very, very good, and it's going to get a message across and straighten up some things of what happened with me. So one, I thank you guys for all the comments down there. I will read them after, I promise. So I had rumors put out that I had harmed my ex-fiance. So I in this video today, I want to straighten some of those things up. And I want to I really want to ask the people who did these wrongs to step up to the occasion and be better people and not do this in the future, because it's really sad what happened. It's sad for everybody. Nobody won on any level in this. If anything, everybody lost. And I'm really tired of the fighting in this field, in my field. I kind of try to stay out of it. I very much am on my own. I do my own things, and I feel that that's the best right now. I will say this, is that, okay, one, I want to give you a quick run through of my life with Max. I ran a jewelry business with my aunt who is handicapped. We were about to buy a store. We were about to buy around $250,000 store. I had known Max for years. Max came into my life. He wasn't doing well. He lost his apartment. He was homeless. He had nothing. He lost his job. Max, as a child, had told me he had been through a lot of things, and people around him have not disposed of what he's been through. This is why he had a lot of issues. He was experiencing, for sure, supernatural things, because I saw him. And I will tell about some of these things in the future. But he was experiencing supernatural stuff. I remember Max from past lives, and he remembered me. We had a very strong connection. What I did is I paid for him a ticket to my place. I said, okay, you can stay here with me. I was really well off. Me and my aunts are very lovely. They do jewelry, and we're very much girl power in our crew. We just are girl power, and we are we support each other. My aunt, she's in a wheelchair. She's one of the most amazing women I've ever known. So, so I flew Max in. We're about to buy this store. We're getting everything ready to buy it, and I flew Max in. Max is just, he was bad. His hair, like, it looked so unhealthy. He was so thin. He was really thin despite being really tall. He's really thin. He had nothing, not a penny to his name. He had some jeans with holes in it. He had nothing. And I brought him, I put him in my apartment. I had 2 cars, brand new cars. I gave him the keys to my cars. I said, here. We went and bought him a new wardrobe. I said, you know what, we would bring him to dinners. We took care of him. We completely took care of him. We winded up spending a lot of money on him. We spent money to help heal him, which was a lot. I was spending a lot of money on just doing things to heal him because he was so imbalanced. Then I found out he had been a drug addict. He had issues with addiction. What I did is I said, okay, Max, you're with me. I don't believe in, I believe that drugs are lower energies. They bring archonic energies. They're negative. I believe that drugs bring negative energies in. I said, I will not have any of this. You will clean up. You will have a healthy diet. You will be well in our house. My aunts told him the rules of the house. My aunts lived right across from me. I had my apartment. She had her apartment, and my aunts had their apartment. We told them the rules. So we do a lot of meditation. We told them, we will give you a job and pay you. Max, when it was and I love him, and I will always love him. It was such a job. Every single day I had to make sure he didn't have any drugs on him. I needed to make sure. I literally would sometimes just have to drag him into the bathtub because he would go into these bouts of depression and lay on the floor about things that happened to him as a child, which I will not comment here. But I think, like I said, people around him need to tell the truth about what happened to him as a child. And that's why he was so messed up when he grew up. And I don't want this to take away from his supernatural experiences, because there was a lot, and I assure you of that today, that there was a lot of supernatural experiences that he was going through. So I would drag him, pull him literally into the bathtub and wash him. And I was doing this every day. Almost. During the first 3 months, he winded up, he had a drinking problem too. So it was drugs and drinking. So he had no money. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to monitor for him to make sure to keep him away from drugs and drinking. So I'm like, okay, we're going to a restaurant. You can't drink anything here. So then I started to give him herbs and stuff that help addiction. So he winded up to start to stabilize out. So like a month and a half in, he was stabilized out, and he started to glow. My friends were like, oh my God, he looks like he came back from the dead. So everybody was supportive in my little town. They were really kind. And then what happened was, this person he's close to, the same person that put out rumors about me, this person he's close to sent him drugs. And I have very strong intuition, very strong psychic abilities. I wake up in the middle of the night, something just woke me up. I walk into the living room, and he is sitting on the couch just looking strange. And I just said, get in the car. And he sat in the car, and as soon as he sat in the car, he started to OD. So I sent him lots of energy. I rushed him to the ER. We saved his life. We saved his life. And I'm like, where did you get these drugs? And he tells me this person close to him sent him money and sent him these drugs. And I'm like, and this person was acting like they liked me and like they were my friend. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry, Max, but you can't be around me doing drugs. So he winded up becoming clean. I told him, I'm like, I will pay you a ticket wherever you want, but you cannot stay here and do this. I will not have this around me. I will not have this around my aunts. I will not I'm like, okay, you make a decision now. You can stay with me and detox, and you can stay with me and learn how to be spiritual and healthy and all this stuff, or you can go. And he came back in. He's like, I'm going to stay with you. I promise I love you, and I want to become a better person, and I think you're a really good person. I want to learn that from you. So I completely put in, I didn't buy the store, and we poured in, probably I burnt around $250,000. We burnt that out probably in like 2 years. If that. I fed Max the best food possible, took care of him. You look at pictures before Max met me, he does not look well. You look at pictures after he met me, he looks amazing. Nobody thought he was his age. So that worked. I was like, listen, and I knew he really loved me. So I was like, if you go drink or do this, and then he was surrounded by lots of people who were into drugs, who were into drinking, who just or wanted his attention so much that they would give him drugs, or they would give him things to try to pull them towards him. So this was a huge problem for me. So it was so stressful. I was constantly watching him like watching a child. I would always, search the cabinets, search his drawers, make sure there was nothing in there that would hurt him or drugs. And I'm like, okay, but, and I was really naive back then. So I thought people around him really cared, that they really wanted him sober. Then I figured out that wasn't the truth eventually. So I burned through that money, and I was like, okay, Max, I was going to buy a jewelry store. I have a little jewelry business with my aunts. We were very successful. And he promised me when we get to England, he would give me some money back so I could start my jewelry business back up, which I was really good at. My aunt makes amazingly beautiful real gemstone jewelry, and she charges it with energy and stuff. So my aunt loves Max. She completely was always helping Max, but she also did not, she was always trying to make sure too. She was really worried that he might relapse into things, which was good when he was all around us. And my friend group, he didn't relapse into anything. So then we winded up traveling. We had all these amazing experiences. He stayed pretty sober throughout the whole time. I think he had like 2 instances or 3 instances where I found him with some alcohol. One day he was walking. I was like, I sense there's something in your pocket. And he goes, there's nothing I can hide from you. And like, pull it out. He pulls out this little bottle of alcohol. And I'm like, give me that. Threw it away. I get to England and I'm like, ooh, I love England. You know, I grew up in France and I love France because my mom's French, and I just love France. And I got to Canterbury, England, which is a beautiful, beautiful town. And I was excited. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's away from the people in the United States, his friends in LA that, you know, were trying to send him stuff in the mail and stuff like that. I get to England and oh my gosh, I'm like, I'm going to have help here. I'm going to have help. So people are going to help me to keep him straight. Matt, that wasn't the case. That was not the case at all. I winded up, let's just say this, I winded up being left without anything in England. My aunts were freaking out for me. My aunts, like my mother, they were freaking out for me. I was left in England without anything, without support. Max completely started to eventually relapse there. People around him gave him things so that he would relapse. And I'm not going to name names in this video, but they know who they are. And they're acting like they were close to Max and all this stuff. They were not close to Max in that way. They were close to Max in a negative way by giving him drugs and by making him paranoid and by just completely wanting to destroy him. They did not like the connection that he had to me. They did not like that he was going towards the light. Eventually, Max just became unbearable. I got him into rehab. It was so hard to get him into rehab. I had people like, okay, so he was in rehab and I come downstairs and he was just on the floor. He had saved up the things they give you, and I don't know that much about drugs, but he had saved up what they give you under your tongue, some sort of that keeps you off of drugs. He saved those up. He wasn't taking those, and he had shot up some drug that was really intense, which I don't want to even name on here because I don't even like the name of this drug. And so I'm like, I'm leaving you if you don't tell me who gave you this drug. And he told me, this person who's really close to him gave him this drug. This very person who was acting like they were my friend gave him this drug. And I was appalled. So I called them up. I'm like, I'm going to go tell his rehab officer. Like, I'm going to let his rehab officer know that you are giving him drugs. You're close to him and you're giving him drugs. Not only are you giving him drugs, you're giving his siblings drugs. You're doing things like this. And I was appalled by it. And then, so Max wasn't getting off drugs. And then other people from these other people, obviously the Basis Project doesn't like me. Let's just say some people there. And it's not Miles, but somebody close who knows Miles. And I don't want to really say names in this, sent him drugs in the mail, pills. And she just was obsessed with Max. She sent him pills. And I'm here to awaken people. I'm not here to, I feel drugs are lower vibration, and I'm not here to be in that frequency. I'm not here to be in that consciousness at all. It's something I pulled Max out of, and he was being pulled back into this lower consciousness. And I completely was devastated that this person betrayed me. Then I found out, so I was in the and another thing, So I wound up trying to go ahead and start a jewelry business back up. And I wound up selling a little bit of jewelry. It was starting, and Max literally took that money for drugs. So I was stuck. And I winded up telling people, stop interviewing Max. He has an addiction problem. When you're interviewing him, entities are coming through. I believe that entities are coming through. My angels were appearing around the bed. They said, don't be intimate with him. Stay away from him. So before I broke up with him, I was not being intimate with him. I was staying away from him. He was really upset about this. I couldn't do it though. I'd get so drained. I look like a dead person eventually because I just look like, the energy was being drained out of my body. So my angels are coming to me saying, don't let him intimately close to you. So he winded up just telling me, listen, you need to choose between your aunts who are telling you to leave to the United States and me. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to listen to my aunt. And I love you, but I have to leave because I keep trying to help you heal, but I'm surrounded by people who don't like what I'm doing. I'm surrounded by people who only want to harm you. And you're not realizing that these people, they don't love you. they want to see you, they want to destroy you. They want to destroy the love and connection that we have between us. And you know what? So I was like, I have to go. And I do not, my angels told me, they have been instructed me too in dreams, that I need to get away from you because you're hurting the light that I have within me. By that point, I feel like I was I was absorbing Max's like everything. I was feeling angry. I was feeling upset, things I had never felt. I'd always felt like happy and sunshine. And it was amazing. I'd always been pretty high frequency. I felt like I was turning into the very negative part of him. We started to have some pretty intense arguments because I wasn't going along with what he wanted. So I told him I'm leaving. He wouldn't let me leave the UK. He kept my passport. My uncle and my aunt and some of my friends can back this up. He hid my passport at this person's house. I literally had to plead with him to get my passport back. I had to escape. Literally, my uncle had to come and get me and help basically smuggle me out of the country back to the United States, of which I got a lot of hate. Max dumped you and whatever else, which was absolutely ridiculous. And I have recordings of people close to him, very close to him, really are admitting that I spent this money on him, that I took care of him, that he became abusive. Yes, Max started to become physically abusive to me. So then I had told some of his friends about this. I'm like, he's starting to be, when he's intoxicated, he just started like talking like a demon, like he was possessed. It was really, really strange. He was talking really bad. So I'm like, okay, I told one, he's being abusive to me. And they're like, if you marry him, then this is the advice they gave me. And then the other girl was like, Max isn't hitting you. You're just making that up. And I have it. Like I said, this person who's related, I have her recorded, her recordings of her, that where she admits he was abusive to her. And that's why she essentially pushed him off out of her place, but he was abusive to me too. And I let her know about that. And I let some of his friends, his one friend told me to marry him. I don't know what she was thinking. I'm like, I called her up crying. I'm like, he pushed me down the stairs. He's slapping me around. She's like, you got to marry him, because if you marry him, then demons will leave you alone. And I'm like, oh God, no, that's not happening. Towards me, like I was the evil one. I was the bad one. So then Max is calling me. He's in Poland. And I'm like, Max, yes, I still care about you. I want to see you well. Okay. I'm like, he called me like 100 times a day. No kidding. My other phone winded up breaking because he was calling me and it was buzzing. It buzzed right off of onto the floor and broke. That's how much he was calling me. So he was calling me. I've posted messages, and I've given these messages to the journalist, and I feel like I was treated better by mainstream journalists because they actually looked at the messages. They were cared. They were like really nice. They didn't believe any rumors. So, and I told them a lot of things that happened. And so Max is calling me, and I'm like, Max, I'm just gonna stay with my aunts. I'm gonna work at rebuilding my life back up because it's been hard when what I went through. So I winded up, and if some people in here just can't cope that I'm being vocal about my truth, I'm sorry for you, because I'm sorry that you're okay with like believing what isn't true and what was fed to you, from these people who harmed Max. They didn't care about Max. Max did die of an overdose, partially, and I believe also of being bombarded with negative energy because he was being pulled out of that. What I'm gonna say, and I have recordings where Max admits that he is being very bad to me. That's why I left him. So I have recordings of this, and I'm willing to really go ahead and put these recordings out there if anybody tries to say that this is not true. I have a 2.5-hour recording of Max saying that I did not leave him for any other guy, that I left him because he had become physically abusive, emotionally abusive. He admits to people around him that they were giving him drugs and that they were being hurtful and harmful. People around him do not want me releasing this recording at all. And I'm pretty sure that these people don't want me releasing the other recordings that I have of them where they're admitting how good I treated Max and how he kept me from leaving the UK and a lot of other things. They don't. They keep this whole thing of they don't like me and I'm the bad person. And I'm not going to sit here and live in their dishonesty and in their lies. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I believe I'm doing this in a very nice way because I'm not naming names, and I could very well name names. And if people only knew what Max suffered as a child, what he was suffering from these people, I'm sure that they would get a lot of emails and a lot of mails telling them that, they shouldn't have acted like that. So I'm hoping that they see this video and that they stop putting rumors and gossip out. And I hope they become better people. And I hope that if anybody learns anything from this video, don't give drugs to those who are, addicts. Don't do that. Try to help them out. Don't do that. And even if you think, even if you're related to them and you say that you love them, don't do that. Don't give them any drugs. That's not love. You're just basically trying to use them in a way because you always want them around and you know that they will kind of be close to you if you give them drugs, and that's a really sad thing. So I'm trying to clear these rumors up today because I'm moving on with my life and I want everybody else to move on with this. I feel like that being honest about this now that I can speak out and now that I have my voice is the best thing that I can do. These people told me not to talk about things. They instructed me what to talk about and what not to talk about. I have recordings of them burning their friends. I mean, this one journalist in England, she's burned by this lady that was close to Max. Burnt. I have these recordings of this and it's really sad because they don't even like each other. They're kind of really petty towards each other. And so I really just wanted to get this truth out. I do believe that Max was being targeted by the hive consciousness. When Max got to Poland, the people around him did not help to, I believe, so my experience with the people in Poland, me and Max had been invited to London. And I was sitting there and everybody was kind of smoking weed and I wouldn't smoke it. And I looked at the one woman and she shapeshifted into what looked like a sort of hag. She looked like she was rotten. And I realized that whole group was part of the hive consciousness. And I told Max, they said, they are going to try to bring you to destruction. They're trying to use your weaknesses against you. They do not like that you're waking up. And they don't like this. And we have to be very careful with, we have to be very, very careful with frequent. We can't just go up and down. It's no game. We need to those who choose to go up, we need to be honorable. And I believe that his addictions, because of what happened to him as a child, they used this hive consciousness, used the people it was infested in to get him and harm him and hurt him. And that's why he was given the pills he was given. And it says it. I'm being truthful about this. You Google it. And the person who was around him admitted to giving him pills. You're awakened. You're quote awakened. Why would you give somebody pills? Why wouldn't you give them herbs? Why wouldn't you put them in rehab? Questions need to be asked here. Questions need to be asked of why Max was an addict way before I met him. Why the people around him did not care about his well-being. And people need to stop attacking me, because I didn't do anything to him other than try to help him. Yes, I got in some arguments. Everybody gets in arguments with their significant others. That doesn't mean that I hurt him. So what I'm trying to say is people need to ask, you need to stop believing gossip online, which is really low frequency. And I feel like that's another thing in our field. Everybody's into gossip. They believe gossip. They spread rumors. And it's just really quite sad because you know what? When you're doing that, you're being used by that lower hive consciousness to go ahead and attack whoever that hive consciousness wants to attack. So I suggest that everybody stops their rumors, stops their gossip, and starts working on bettering their lives, bettering their souls, and becoming better people. I'm not done with explaining this, and I'm still going to go on here. So Max let me know that when he was in Poland and he was drugged up and drunk, that they were getting him to write things. When Max was drugged up and drunk, he would say anything, massively, just anything. He would say the craziest stuff. So they had got that, and he was saying that they had told him that they would use that against him. I don't know if this is true or not. I do know that when Max died, the people that were around him said that they had went ahead and that they had him saying stuff about me. Obviously, when somebody's under drugs and under, they're intoxicated, you probably should not be having them write anything or record anything. You probably should get them help. So I want to know what sort of deprogramming is going on in that whole circle that was close to Max, because why didn't they deprogram Max, as in get him in rehab, get him sober, and get him some help, which he needed? No, they had him promoting books. Right after Max died, they, quickly posted up, I killed him. Quickly, and asked people to do black magic on me. No, it's just absolutely ridiculous what happened. I am a little girl. I was a little girl, basically, who grew up out of school and everything, and suddenly I turned into this assassin that killed my ex-boyfriend. Ask these vital questions. Nobody has looked into this. Everybody's pointed fingers. And Max had, he had some groupies that were so obsessed with him. They were willing to just say anything and do anything and spread anything about me because they didn't like me because I was with him. So I got that unwanted hate too. And then it was women that were saying they were awake. I had one woman, she was like, oh, you're this and this and this. And I'm like, you're claiming to be awakened. Obviously, these are rumors you read online. These are not true. How awakened are you that you're even looking into rumors online about me and caring to message me about them? How awakened are you? So these are things that, a lot of these things happened to me that were just absolutely insane. And I'm so happy. I feel so good today that I could say my truth and that I can say, listen, I'm so happy I got this out, because my family, my friends, and I am not the enemies here of Max. We never were. We try to help him, and he needed a lot of help. And he winded up getting in the claws of a group that hurt him and harmed him and did not care about him on any level. And it's really sad to see that and then have had them accuse me of absolute insanity. So I just wanted to get that out. And I know it's probably a lot for you guys because you have followed Max, and I don't want this to take away. He was, when he was sober, he was having all sorts of supernatural experiences. I assure you, a lot of stuff he was bringing was real experiences he was having. I believe that the drugs came from some experiences, like I said, as a kid, that were so hurtful to him, he could not get over. And I won't say those, just out of respect for him. When Max was clean, those years I got to see him clean, that time, he was one of the most amazing people ever. He had the biggest heart. He was just like this bright-eyed little sweetheart boy who was like, he was so sweet. He would go pick a flower and bring it to me. We'd have the most amazing time. When he relapsed onto drugs, he became a terrible person. And I think any of us, if I was on drugs, I'd become a terrible person. And any of us would become a terrible person if we're on drugs. And I know this. So what I'm trying to say is I don't want this to discredit anything he has put out there, because he has put out there a lot of information that's helpful to humanity. Some of the last work he was doing was, we were doing about how when people really love each other, there's this heart energy that literally it's powerful. It affects the world in a positive way. So that's some of the stuff that we were working on. So yes, to continue on, I winded up, I just want to finish the story that I had. So I decided to take my space from Max and go to the United States. And he died eventually, which was very heartbreaking. When he died, I collapsed on the ground. I felt so hot, I collapsed on the ground. Right before he died, though, there was some very strange things that were going on. And I can post up, and when I post up these messages, we were getting attacked by entities, specifically Goetian entities. We were being attacked by tons of things. I was being so badly attacked. He was being so badly attacked. I do think a lot of people were doing black magic on us. I do believe that there were entities attacking us. there were all sorts of things going on. I do believe that maybe part of his relapse on drugs is because all that dense energy that people were throwing at him, he couldn't cope with it. So that's why he kind of rushed back and relapsed into drugs. So that's one of the things that I've entertained in my mind. So it was very heartbreaking for me. I winded up nearly dying. Well, the doctors did tell me that I was dying. I had to fix all my organs, my kidneys, liver, everything. I was spitting up blood every day. And eventually I'm going to do an interview with my aunt. She's going to help me because she knows what happened. So she's going to just go ahead and say her part. And I want to get this out there and clear this up. I think that, Max has an amazing father. He's always very supportive of me. He has amazing children. His children are just incredibly beautiful children. I want to say Max's dad is an amazing person, and I really, really am happy that he was able to interact with his dad, because I know he hadn't seen his dad in a long time. When we went back to England, he was able to see his dad. So his dad would come and have lunch with him, which would make him very excited. Max's father is my experience with him, absolutely amazing. I hope one day to see him again and have a nice long chat with him. He was always very supportive of me. He would tell Max, listen to her. She's trying to help you out. So he was always very sweet. Again, I can't even say enough beautiful things about Max's children. So yes, that's a huge part of what happened with Max. And, I'm really happy that they investigated it and that they found out that it was the people around him who had harmed him, because I feel like if he had just, there was some closure there, because I had posted, I said, I knew people were drugging him up. I knew he was being given all this stuff. I posted that up the day he died, and I got so attacked for it. And I was so disappointed in the weight community that they had hold of him and they couldn't even keep him or help him be sober. That was very disappointing for me. And then to attack me on top of that. So I ended up nearly dying, I did a lot of spiritual work to come out on top. And eventually did. Here I am, somewhat better. I can smile. For probably 1.5 years, I couldn't really smile at all. I remember people were so mean too about it. They didn't realize I was sick. My face fell, everything fell. It was like bad. My hair fell out. All my hair fell out in the bathtub. Basically, it was like pretty much gone. So I was really ill, and I just was like, this is bad. But it taught me a lot. It really taught me a lot, and it taught me that in the end, we have God within us. So when I had all this insanity happening in the 3D world, I went within and I did my work within, and that's why I'm here today. So, and I hope that this doesn't make too many people mad, but the truth is the truth, and the truth is always going to come out in the end. So, you know what? I'm not going to hinder that. Yes. So, and I want to get to more positive subjects, by the way, because, and I did a lot of throat chakra healing. I'm like, and continuously let this go around. And my sister the other day was so mad because she knows I try to help Max. So she tried to help him. What is wrong with you? And it was, of course, from the group in Poland that sent this part of their friends that seemed to try to troll me, despite the fact that that person around Max admitted that he died from nothing is going to keep me down, and nothing's going to keep me from going even higher than now. And I'm just going up in frequency. This is what I work on every single day. So as I do, that affects the world. And that helps the consciousness of this world. And that's what I'm focusing on. Now, I know a secret about Max. And I have a secret about myself. And what's really interesting is I'm sure that Max can reincarnate very quickly or walk into other bodies. And I will keep that information to myself. But he's not necessarily gone. But he did go do some soul healing. After he died, I had this experience. And it was a very beautiful experience. So Max comes to me. And there were these very beautiful energetic beings. And he was in this cocoon. They had taken these threads, multicolored energetic threads. They had wrapped him in the cocoon so it could heal his aura and heal him. And so the peace and silence, beautiful energy could heal him, because he had suffered a lot here on earth. And usually it's kind of a time where I believe souls are not allowed to get out of there. And that he, because his connection was so strong to me, he was allowed to come and see me despite that. So they brought him to me. They were like, listen, he's undergoing, he's undergoing this sort of spiritual cleansing, but he wanted to speak to you so bad. So we decided to let him come see you. So he was so happy to see me. He was like, listen, I want to tell you this, Sarah. They're trying to switch your heart off. They're trying to switch your compassion off. You're trying to switch your love off. They're trying to close down your heart chakra. They're trying to make you into a reptile where you're cold, where you don't have faith in the world, where you don't have faith in people. They're trying to do this to you. And I want to tell you not to fall into that. And and he was like, even the people around me are trying to do this to you. I'm very sorry for their actions. And he was like, I want you to still have your heart despite everything. And it was very beautiful, because then I really understood what was happening to me. I understood why I was being attacked. It wasn't just for nothing. It was because of this, because I have incarnated in this world to help bring up frequency, and I'm going to have a lot of people that are infested with lower consciousness pushing and hitting at me to try to keep me from doing that. So I've had some beautiful experiences with him, and he's told me that he can jump in and out of bodies, and sometimes he does. He's done it to people around me, and they'll be like, I've just felt a bit odd, and I'll be like, I've seen Max's face in yours. He was just talking to me through you. So, it's the healed Max, the Max I knew for all those years that he was sober and well and happy. And so, yeah, that's that. So I do really cherish his energy and his soul, and cherish the time I had with him. And I understand that I had to get away from him for my well-being. And I also understand, though, that when he relapsed into stuff, that was not the true real Max. That was the very hurt part of him. That was a part of him that was, trying to get rid of that pain. So I know the real true Max, and he's a very beautiful being that has a very beautiful heart. So I'm going to move on from the subject. I'm happy I got this out there. Like I said, I was doing throat chakra healing. It kept coming up. I kept telling Taj, I'm like, Taj, I gotta say it. Taj, he's like, I don't think you should say it now, because he's seen me go through all this stuff. He's like, I don't think you should say it. I'm like, I gotta say it. People are gonna like it or hate it, and I don't care, because I've done the right thing. I've just spoken the truth and spoken it out. And so, yes. Okay. Another subject. So I've had these downloads recently. One download was about free energy. So I saw that, I was thinking about cars and how there's a lot of pollution. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do about this? There's a lot of pollution. We need a lot of stuff to run off electricity. So then I thought, okay, there's electricity in the rivers and stuff like that, but if we keep taking this energy, if we have devices that take this energy, there's a problem. We're going to run out of energy and everything too. So that's another problem, rather than like the exhausts that pollute the world. So we have two different problems. And then right away, I was brought back to the priests and priestesses that used to open up energy portals and bring in the energy. And I was shown that there's free energy for everybody. If we start creating devices that just take the energy out of the air, out of everything around, that pull it in to power our cars, to power everything, we can do that. And we just need to have these priests and priestesses open these portals, and we need to move away from things like gas running cars that pollute this earth. So that's one of the downloads that I got recently. Another download that I got recently was the fact that just the higher ups are pushing forward, and they are really saying right now, there's a big awakening going on. Just look around, even look in politics. You see people starting to politicians are starting to rise up. And I know they might not be the greatest people, but they're starting to talk about things like giving better wages to people. They're starting to talk about important things. And I'm really, really excited about that. That's a very positive thing. So I always awakened people to go ahead and start to seek places of power. And we can cry about the psychopaths in power, and that's ridiculous. We can go ahead and seek, get those positions ourselves and start to make laws to help the homeless, start to make laws to help the handicapped, start to make laws to help everybody. And yes, I am, I'm neither Democratic, neither Republican. And I really, really am going to say this. I am for teachers getting higher wages. I am for free housing for the homeless. I am for free housing for the handicapped. I am for free, that people who are in abusive relationships, I believe that they should be giving free housing and money until they can build themselves back up again. I am for our medical system incorporate in natural health, things like homeopathy, acupuncture, herbs, energy work, all of those things. I'm for all of those things. I want people to be taken care of. And there's a lot of people out there who can sit on their computers and can say, listen, you don't have a right to say anything. You don't have a right to say that people should have higher wages. I myself do a lot of work with people. I see a lot of suffering people. Our school teachers should have higher wages. Our school systems should be better than they are. We have so many issues. It's absolutely ridiculous. Taxes. Let's talk about taxes. So taxes. Okay, taxes, and people will not like me saying this, but I'm going to say it because this is what I feel. If the taxes were going back to fixing the roads, to giving free housing to the homeless, the handicapped, to veterans, I'd be okay with taxes. If the taxes were used for what this country needs, I would be okay with paying taxes. I'm not okay with paying taxes because it's going to greedy politicians and greedy elite people who don't care about nothing in this country. The roads are bad. Everything in this country is starting to decay. It's starting to fall down. Our school systems, everything is crap. People are suffering. HUD housing. I was looking at the HUD housing. There's the guy who takes care of HUD housing. He didn't even realize there's like 4 million people that are trying to get HUD housing. He didn't even know the number. He doesn't care, because if you care, you would know the number. We have so many empty houses out there. We could house everyone. With all the taxes, we could provide food for everybody, clothing, everything that we need, everything that everybody needs. I'm tired of people saying, oh my God, this politician is amazing. That politician is not doing anything for you. You will never meet that politician in your life. And not only that politician doesn't care about your town, doesn't care about your kids' school system, doesn't care about you at all. They just want your vote and they want you to support them. That's it. They want something from you for nothing. They're not giving you nothing back. But you're internet warrior, just continuously supporting them like they're super amazing. You're giving your energy to these dark elite leaders who use that energy to stay up here. It's a form of worship. Don't lie to yourself. It's a form of worship. So you're worshiping these guys, and these guys use your energy to stay where they're at and continuously serve lower consciousness, hive consciousness, and make you suffer every day because guess what? Your jobs are harder. Everything's harder for you. So I really want to just say, internet warriors, you don't matter to me. I'm sorry. When you're fighting for politicians, you don't matter for me. Use that energy and go support people who are actually doing good stuff in life. Go support, go help each other out in your own towns. Get off the internet. Go do actions rather than sitting there being an internet warrior for politicians that are crappy. So, these beings, these higher beings, that interact with me, and just the God consciousness that flows through me is like, don't fall into that. These elite leaders in the end, as people wake up, their true selves are going to come out, and people are going to be like, why did I support that? Why? I shouldn't have supported that. So it's like, no matter who says anything about what I feel or what I say or what I believe in, I'm still going to be aligned to God consciousness in me, not to what people want of me, or not to what people say about me, or not what people try to pressure me into. Because I honestly don't care about that. I care about God consciousness above anything. So I just, when it comes to elite leaders, I just take away my support if I were you guys. Just take away your support from them. Stop being their internet warriors. Stop giving them your votes. Walk away from it. Go start to fix your towns, get involved with homeless programs, start to enrich your life, start to make change, start to create the change yourself. Literally, put groups of you and your friends together, start cleaning up the trash in your towns, on your beaches, start to create, where everybody brings clothes and gives that to the homeless. Go do things by yourself. And that's a lot better than sitting there and being an internet warrior. I really, really think that if we just all did that, that's the bet that would, in the end, that's the best thing we possibly could do for ourselves and others. When we help others, we build up energy within ourselves. So not only are we gaining from it, those who we are helping are gaining from it, we're gaining from it spiritually. And you shouldn't do it to gain from it spiritually, but it's the right thing to do. And you should do the right thing. I think we live in a world where it seems so cool to do the wrong thing. And it's really just, it's made doing the right thing look so bad. And that's sad, because doing the right thing really pays off in the end. You're going to sleep better at night. You're going to have better dreams. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to manifest a better life. So, being intense tonight. I have to run off after and get some nice tea and go back to my calm self. So religion, crazy. The whole thing of religion is same as politics. It's like, oh my God, people are internet warriors for religion. And I'm sitting there like, do you realize that religion has preached rape, pedophilia, incest, murder, sacrifice, burning animals? Like, what are you teaching here? Okay. Like, what are you believing in here? To be exact, why are you believing in this? It doesn't take an idiot to realize something's really wrong with a book that teaches all of these things. That's okay with these things. It's just like, it doesn't take an idiot to figure that there's something really wrong. And then people are like, but there's some good stuff in it. There's always good stuff with everything that's false. There's like this much good stuff and this much bad stuff. Like, that's the truth. So, yes, religion's another one. I traveled and I've spent time with people of different religions, and I can say that, I've seen some pretty bad stuff. And all in the name of religion. My mom abused me in the name of religion. My dad, he couldn't send me, when I was sick, he couldn't send me $100 for a prescription I needed. Thankfully, I wound up using herbs. But he was sending all this money to the TV pastors. That's how much religion has people completely mentally shut down and mind numb and mind controlled to it. It's that bad. And that story is not bad at all, next to a lot of stuff that's happening in religion. So I'm just really tired of Saudi Arabia killing people that are opening their mouths about their extreme religion. I'm really not happy with this. I keep seeing this in my newsfeed. I keep having these downloads about this, and that the divine is very unhappy with Saudi Arabia and how it's trying to suppress people's rights, their God-given divine rights to be free, to have freedom of speech, to have freedom of expression. So Saudi Arabia is going to get hit on some level. The elite leaders, they're going to get hit on some level. The elite leaders in the United States, a lot of things are going to come out about them. Those who are running for president, those who are president, those who are around the president, and it's not going to be nice deeds. And I'm not going to lie about that one, and because a lot of people like supporting those elite leaders. So the divine is starting to bring mirrors to everybody and say, look at yourself. And then it's bringing the light so everybody can wake up and see what's truly going on. I'm going to finish this podcast off, and I don't even know if I'm going to leave it up, because, later I might think that maybe maybe this whole thing just should be deleted. So, but I promise to make more podcasts, and I'm even gonna start like this thing where I bring my supplements on or my smoothies, and I'm like, here, this works, this doesn't work, I tried it, so that people trying to heal or trying to bring up their frequency know what to take and what not to take. So that's something that I plan on doing in the future. And then I just had the most amazing interview with Gaia, and I was thankful for all the support that was sent to me there. I think it was one of my best interviews because I was zen, calm, and said a lot of things that were important to me. What else? Let's see. I'm working on, I'm making my online store that's going to have like herbs and different things in it and different teas and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that. I'm working on that project right now. And also on making, here we go, pretty dresses. So I know a lot of people don't know this, but I dye clothes, I knit, I create things and do stuff like that. So I like creating stuff. So I'm working on that too. Anyhow, thank you everyone for watching, and I will be doing maybe another podcast tomorrow, and a more positive one now that I've ranted this whole thing out. I think there was like one last thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, so I just wanted to say that I'm hoping whoever have done those rumors that they just kind of stop doing that. You don't need to say you're sorry. Just don't partake of that and try to be a better person, because I know there's still a few people who really, really are spreading this. And I'm like, what? But anyhow, I think I want to finish off with that I hope that those people know that I'm no longer, I have a lot of heart. I have a lot of compassion and a lot of love within me. But going through all this has taught me some very strong boundaries, to have strong boundaries and to be firm and not let others harm me. And you know what? I am more than happy to take a stand against those who try to bring that to me, whether it's legally or whether it's verbally. I will do that. And I will not be quiet like I was before and take the beating. I'm going to go ahead and say what I feel. I think that that's healthy boundaries. So I want to finish off with saying thank you again to everybody who supported me. Thank you again to everybody who's been here for me. And I hope in the future that I can just go ahead and, do even more to help others out. And this makes me happy. I love helping people on every single level. I'm going to continue doing so. I'm going to try to do more. I'm working on a little project, and I'm gonna maybe ask you guys to help in the future. There's this lady in LA, she gives the homeless makeovers, and I've decided to just send her, lots of my clothes. My boyfriend's decided to send her like beauty products from his, because she does makeovers, she does their hair, and she fixes them up so they can go look for jobs. It's beautiful. So we're working on getting some boxes of stuff together right now for her. And I might share that project with you. So if you guys want to send in extra things that you guys, have that, whether it's clothes or even beauty products, you can send it to her in LA. I posted the video already like twice, I think. And we've been talking, and she's amazing. So I'm really, really happy and excited about this. And I want to encourage everybody, I feel like in this community, everybody's talking. Nobody's out there like in the streets doing stuff to help others. I don't see it happening. They're like, oh, I can bring this secret technology that's going to help everybody, but I'm not allowed to right now. You can help everybody by getting out there in the streets and helping people. You literally can do that. No, forget the talk. Why don't you there's a lot of people in my community that have a lot bigger following than me. Why don't they put together groups? Why don't they invite you guys and be like, listen, you're in this town, come help us. Let's go help out some homeless. Let's make these issues go viral. Let's change the issues we have in these towns. Let's go ahead and help people out. So I'm hoping that maybe whoever watches this video, if I leave it up, of those people who have followings, please just start doing this. Forget talking. Talking, it's good, but actions are better. Doing your part to really help out and getting people around you to help out is going to be the best and greatest and most amazing thing that we can do. It's going to be the biggest change. And we're in the Awake community. We're supposed to be helping people out. We're supposed to be helping for change, not sitting there saying, oh my God, I've been given all this divine information and but I'm going to sit here and not do anything. I don't have to go out there and do this stuff because I have my information. No, we are given information, but we also need to do the actions of helping other people out. And I truly believe in this. Thank you, Angie. Yes, she needs makeup. She needs hair dye. And I was, because I know hair dyes are really toxic. I was going to try to send her some organic hair dyes. And anyhow, thanks everyone. I'm going to sign off. You guys have a good evening. Bye.